Hi, this is another tutorial from Whimsy Woo on how to sew your pole onto your hobby horse. Okay, so with your first stuff your hobby horse to the curve in the neck. So the head is really tightly packed and full. Put your pole up into the hobby horse's head and then stuff really tight to the second fill line that is on your pattern. Okay, if you have a look down in here, you need to pull your pole so that the holes line up with the top of your stuffing. You want to be able to see the holes, not sticking up here really high and not held right down deep in the stuffing. You want it level with your stuffing. Okay, so you should have now a cuff with a raw edge. Some people like to put bias binding along this edge instead of cuffing it, but I like to cuff it. It gives you 2 layers of fabric and a much tighter hold on the pole. Okay, so first thing, about 1.5 to 2 inches down, folding that down 1.5 to 2 inches to make a nice neat cuff. You're then going to take your very large needle, okay, the largest needle you can find that will fit through the hole with line on it. The type of line I use is 36.3 kilos, which is 80-pound line. Just buy that from your local fishing tackle store. You can go down to 22.7 kilos, which is 50-pound line, but I wouldn't go any lighter than 50 pound. I definitely don't recommend using a cotton because cotton will perish and fray and break with rubbing back and forwards through those holes over time. Okay, so you have your cuff. The next thing to do is to do a bag stitch or a weaving stitch all the way around, making sure that the stitches are above the raw edge on the inside. I'm going to start my line on the inside to hold the to hide the knot. Oopsie. Okay, about 10 millimeters to 15 millimeter stitches all the way around. You can do smaller ones if you want, but it's really not necessary. I wouldn't go much larger. And remembering that you're not using cotton, you will be using a nylon or fishing line. Okay, once you get back to where you started, which is here, you want to pull this tight to draw it shut like a drawstring bag. If there's any stuffing hanging out, you need to poke all of that back down in there before drawing your string really tight. Okay, so take up all of the tension. Remember, you'll be using line. You'll get a much better tension on the line than you will on cotton. Okay, so you want your first hole to be lined up with the seam under the neck. So you take up your tension on the line, take a small amount of neck fabric and go straight through the hole of the pole that you've drilled, and you come out the other side as close to the seam that you've sewn as you possibly can. Remembering to keep the tension on the line until you've pulled your string all the way through. Okay, so I've gone through one way, I need to go through the other. If you imagine that this is 12 o'clock on this side, this is 6 o'clock, I'm going to push my needle through the fabric to come out at 3 o'clock. So I'm tensioning it, taking a small amount of fabric and then coming out close to the seam again on this side at 3 o'clock. And if you've drilled your holes accurately, you should be able to go through your fabric and through that hole there. So exactly the same as before, take a small amount of fabric with you as you go through the hole and come out the other side. Tensioning again. Now I recommend that you do that once more, so go back through that hole, back to 12 or 6 o'clock and back again through the opposite hole. What I'm going to do is just knot this one off though, as if I've already done that. Okay, so tension it up. And notch a line off. Okay, and again, like when I did the nose and the mouth, just stab your needle back through, doesn't matter where you come out. Take the tension up, snip it off, and the sharp end of your nylon line or fishing line will then be right deep in the fabric, so there won't be any scratchy bits for little kitties to get hurt by. It's now an option that you can tie a ribbon around here and tie a bow to cover up that puckered seam if you want. It's not totally necessary, but it does add a cute little finish off to the hobby horse. And I hope that's helped. Thank you.